Hi everyone, this is Ashley and I'm here with Hero DarkyDark. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, what's up? Hero DarkyDark here. The hero you don't need but deserve. Here to give content to all. How you doing, my guy?
Hey, it's good to have you on. So, uh,
Likewise, likewise.
so I know you've done Relentlessly Bullied Hero, and that's the comic you already have out, right?
Yes, Relentlessly Bullied Hero number one. That's the one I have out.
Do you want to just tell us about the story and what went into that?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So Relentlessly Bullied Hero, obviously it's inspired by a lot of the superhero media, not just the MCU, but stuff like My Hero Academia, classic Justice League Unlimited,
Yeah,
Avengers, Minus Defenders, that kind of stuff. So basically, in this story, recently one of the star heroes of the city died. So think of like if Superman, Batman, or like All Might died in the city and such. So of course, this leaves open this vacuum of both power and morale. And so because of such things, of course, villains starts acting up, and in response to them, heroes, either new or old, start trying to step up to cover those loss. And so among these heroes is one really good hero. His name is Zeal. He's gonna be basically our main character. He's a little bit weird. He's kind of like a Batman where like he doesn't want to turn up his seriousness. So I guess it's kind of a little bit edgelord, which is funny because just about everyone else kind of call him out on it. But that's another thing. So he's trying his best to help out the town. And he's noticing that a lot of moral decay been happening in the city. People are not, being as kind as they are. They're not taking something as serious as you should. So he sees it and he's trying his best. But unfortunately for him, he's end up in this one binding deal with this villainess, which sees Gamora, who just likes to bully him. And so they end up in this one binding deal. So now he can't get rid of her no matter what he wants to do. And so basically the overall story is that as he's trying to like, bring the life back into the town and such, he's constantly being hindered, whether it's from the people himself being demoralized, villains being a crap out of him, or Gamora that's constantly mess with him. So it's kind of like a little bit of a underdog story in there as well.
nice. Well, I think a lot of comic book fans love an underdog story.
Oh yeah, of course. I feel like that nowadays underdog stories are a little bit underrated. Now people either want a your super OP guy or overly smart thing. I feel like it's time that we bring back the real classic underdog stories.
Yeah. So, what were the Because are you just the writer, or do you do the art as well? Because I've seen you doing a lot of art on your profile.
At the current moment, I am just a writer. I am, starting to learn more and more how to draw for multiple reasons. Mostly just because, I have a lot of time on my hands now. Thankfully, I went ahead. So, let's really bully here. Number three is basically written, and two is doing construction. And then all my other stuff, at least like it's still ahead of being written. So it's like, okay, yeah, I don't have too much to do. So, why just sit around and not do anything where I can learn a skill? And, drawing can be real helpful as it's just like, oh, okay, I can just go from just writing to, probably not work too much on the materials, but, I can be drawing a lot of promotional stuff to make things easier. So I don't have to hire and then pay like $100 every time I want to make an image and
Yeah.
then do a bunch of other stuff. So at the moment, I am just writer creator of it. I do help out the artists a lot, not directly, but more of like advice on direction and then ways we can take things, and then of course making sure we stay consistent on script and that stuff. But yeah,
Yeah. So that kind of leads me into my next question. What would you say are the big, challenges of making a comic?
I say the biggest challenge is I say that's gonna be the marketing and getting attention on a series. Because of
Yeah.
course, making it is not easy, and of course, I'm a little bit privileged in the fact that I don't actually have to draw things. I just write it down ahead of time, but that's not easy as well. But I feel like that's the hardest part because when you make something, you're making it for the purpose because you want people to read it.
Hmm.
But getting people to read it, especially if you're in a career where you want people to actually buy it, not just read it for free, can be difficult because you gotta especially when you're new, you gotta be convincing people that okay, not only do you need to pay for this, but you need to trust me as a creator that I'm not gonna scam you. Accidentally see your product and what you're gonna read is good. Let's be honest, a lot of things media nowadays, whether it's TV shows, anime, manga, a lot of what people read at first probably came in some form somewhat free. So whether that's they watch an anime on TV one day, or they read a manga page and that kind of stuff. And so as an indie creator, it's gonna be a little bit difficult because like okay, you gotta get people interested. You gotta show people that you got something to good them. You gotta get someone that you have goodwill that no, I do actually have something on worth for you to see. And then after all that, you still need to convince them, okay, you have money, whether you work for or some other stuff. You think you can give me some of that? And so I think that's like the hardest part of it.
So your upcoming project is Storm Rail Riders. Do you want to talk to us about that?
Correct. So Snowmo Riders, have you ever played Jet Set Radio or watch Airgale?
I haven't.
Okay, well, basically, long story short, I the easiest way you can describe all three is basically this youthful people on technologically advanced rollerblades, causing trouble or having fun with each other. And then every once in a while, there's like some world destroying thing out there, but that's everything nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's basically like the base of my comic. This kind of like that setting and such because I really enjoy playing those games and then watch those anime as a kid. So I'm just like, okay, I don't see that genre as much anymore up here nowadays. So why not do my own? Why not do it myself? But my version, it's following this one guy. Basically, he got caught up between a battle between two different crews, and he got something stolen from him by one of the crew. So the other crew kind of, taking up for it, go like, hey, sorry about that and stuff. And then basically they did say that, hey, we can just go and steal it back for you, but then they offer a chance to, cause battle for it to get it back. As it's a lot of the stories, a whole lot of taking control back in your life and such. And so they offer a chance to, okay, we can just do it for you and everything, but is that just what you want? Don't you want to get back yourself and then, be yourself again? Such as a huge theme throughout the series is defining your own freedom and such. And so him working to get it back himself and such is kind of like him working to get back control of his life too. It's like, okay, no, I don't just have to wait till someone else does the good things for me. I'll be able to do it myself.
So between Storm Rail Riders and Relentlessly Bullied Hero, what are the future plans? Are these just going to be one shots, or are they going to be series, or what's the hope there?
I say they're both going to be series. Yeah, I have a lot of plans. I have a decent amount of plans. Of course, they constantly changing, and I'm just like, okay, when you get older and when you make comments and stuff, you kind of just get that mindset of, okay, well, it would be cool to have all these ideas in there. I gotta be a little bit relaxed and think, okay, but will I actually be able to finish these stories and such? And so, over time, I'll think of an idea up and I realize, okay, this is even necessary, so I just cut them and such. But I do have ideas at least for each of these series to go on. I can say that both of them could easily go for like at least 10 installments and such. And then, of course, if the reception they keep on going good and such, then that can easily like expand to like 15, 20 or so. Yeah, just kind of both gauging the response, how they work out, and everything.
So you mentioned things like Superman, Justice League cartoon, Relentlessly Bullied, excuse me, My Hero Academia. Would you say that what kind of comics got you into comics, or was it through the TV shows, or what's the story there?
I say all the above. Of course, when I was younger, I didn't read as much because I hated reading. So the cartoons really pulled a lot of the heavy weight. So things like Status Socks, Spantacular Spider-Man, those Stay Unlimited, those kind of stuff. So I watch with my siblings. And then course, there was called anime, manga, so Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach, and all that stuff. But of course, when I got older, the thing that really drew me back into comics was the Green Lantern Blackest Night series, because I saw this one YouTube video from Comic Historian that was basically like, I won't say a complete read through, but like a voice read through of it, and that kind of just got me back into it. Kind of just like, oh yeah, and I was always into that when I was a child. I wonder what's now happening or what's recently happening, and that story really captivated me. And so I was like, oh yeah, this stuff is lit. What happened next? And then from there I just kept on rolling in.
Are you currently reading like Marvel and DC?
At the current moment, I kind of dropped Marvel and DC. I just didn't like a
Yeah.
lot of the series of action. So I just like, and even for the good stuff they have, I kind of just feel like, okay, is there a point in me buying this, or is it just gonna be like, okay, I buy this, and then take that money and then give it to some other crap? And so I was just like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm allowed to curse on here.
Yeah.
Okay, good. But yeah, so I'm just like, okay, yeah, it's to me, I was like, okay, it feels a little obvious that you're not gonna be as respectful for us. So I'll rather just put my money to other stuff. So at the moment, I mostly just buy more indie titles and Image. I know some people don't consider Image to be indie, but I still kind of think so, since it's very, at least from what I heard, it's still very decently creator owned.
Yeah.
So now I'm still reading like Gunslinger Spawn, Rogue Sun. I love Rogue Sun. Rogue Sun is so good, and of course Radiant Black. And, of course, whatever other indie tales that look interesting to me, like The King of Spies and then Dual Power Bomb. The classics are good ones.
Yeah, I feel kind of the same way. I used to like a year or so ago, I had a pretty big DC Comics pull list, but it's just every time they make a big decision, it's the wrong one.
Yeah, and it's like it's so simple, because like it's like that one guy, one friend that you want to do well, but they keep on following, and
Yeah.
of course, as you get older, you just gotta realize that, okay, well, I mean, if you ain't gonna fix yourself, I can't just keep on throwing my resources towards you. Well, sometimes tough love and just disconnecting is better overall than just keep on enabling.
Do you have any creators in the indie space that you kind of look at and you say, this guy's doing it right?
Uh, yeah, I say there's a few. Some people I like for multiple reasons. Either 'cause I think they're really knowledgeable in the space or how to move. They know a lot of the tricks, know a lot of the places. Of course, there's Tyler C. Will, Drawn Talks guy. He's really helpful, really great guy. He gave me a lot of advice about any comics that of course, when I first started now, I was questioning, but now that I'm after it here, I'm like, oh yeah, thank goodness he told me this, or else I could have made a big mistake. There's
Yeah.
other things like Chris Styler, I think that's his name, how you say his name. He does jazz, like I said, real helpful person. He gave me a lot of decent advice. So of course those two, yeah, Chris Styles Inc. That's his name. And then, of course, there's the Craft. He made a comic called Shotgun Samurai, which I think was one of the. I don't think it was like the first indie comic I bought, but like it was among some of the first in the indie comics I bought, because I was just like, you hear something called Shotgun Samurai, and you'll just be like, hmm,
Hmm.
sounds interesting. And what I really like about the book is that, of course, when you look through the art, you can really see him start heavily developing his art style, which I enjoy and such. And so, of course, those are at least the three main ones, mostly because, like I said, great people to me, good people, talk to them and such. And then, of course, people who do well in any comic space in general, Iconic Comics, Comic America, shout out to those people, love the series, they do great. El July, he's good. I honestly, with how far the freaking ISOM and Riververse gone in general, I'm like, hey, props, like you said something, you just straight up doing it. Of
Hmm.
course, the book quality in terms of storytelling. Personally, I feel like some parts of it needs to do uh some parts of it need some work, or some parts of it doesn't appeal to me. But overall, I still say it's doing that. Oh yeah, this is actually pretty good kind of thing. And then let's see, any other place I'm actually interested in any comment? No, I think that's just about it in terms of people I actually care about.
Mm-hmm. So, do you want to pull up the Kickstarter page just to run through? I think it's only in the pre-launch at the moment, isn't it?
Which one? The new one or the one that already passed
The
by?
Storm Rail Riders.
Oh yeah, sure. Give me 1 second. Film sales screen. There we are. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Here you go. All right. So yeah, this is Storm of Riderz. Yeah, it's 56-page book. Now I should probably clarify, this is 56 book of story. The book in general gonna be like 60 plus, and I gotta put like some bonus pages, either of sketches or some other stuff. I always like to do that because it can help. Even out a book, we can help with book formatting and pages and all that stuff. So this book is more gonna be like 60 plus, but yep, just a radio inspired 56 book, very shonen like, and a young man joins the crew to get back what was stolen and regain control over his life. Coming, well, it says spring 2024, but there's been some delays from my artists. This is most likely gonna be more towards the end of the year, so probably like fall. And I like to get my book done before I start the campaign because I do not want to run into the trouble of rushing on all this stuff because I made all these promises and then there's one incident that delays and now I'm going through all this mess. I like to establish a decent amount of customer trust to me. So in turn, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I won't. I'll be honest with you, and then make sure I'll be able to always get it to you, and then in terms you give me resources. So
yeah,
that's at least how I see things.
So do you want to go through the? I think you've got the Relentlessly Bullied hero page as well.
Yes. And from that one, see presentation. Let me move to presentation. To let's boot here. Now I got both of them on. I'll put on the newer one. There we go. And for Relentlessly Bullied Hero number 2, we already did number 1. Big success, hit 200% of my goal. Relentlessly Bullied number 2, Ballroom Awards, 60-page book. Like I said, it'll most likely be a little bit more because of bonus pages, but it is what it is. And then, as said, in need of allies, Gamora convinces Zero to reluctantly attend a hero conference hosted by the PYH, an organization Zero despise. And so, of course, this one, I'm really excited to see how this one go over because, of course, when you start a comic book, the starting could be a little bit difficult because, like, okay, not only do you have to establish stuff and everything, you also got to establish, things like the status quo and all this stuff. As, if you have like world turning events, it won't hit as hard as no status quo in some sense that is breaking from. So, you're like, it's kind of hard to make people feel bad if, a village destroyed, if that's the first thing you see, because then it's kind of just like, okay, but like, is this like a daily thing for you? Is this even that different to what's already going on? So I'm really excited for this one because, like, okay, now that number 1's good, thankfully everyone really loves number 1. You get to introduce the characters, their antics, some stuff what's going on. Number 2 is where we can dig a lot deeper into like the lore and different aspects of the themes that I'm hoping to explore and such, especially into kind of taking into both of duo's main characters' backstories and such. So I'm real excited for it.
So do you have, or do you still have the first issue? Is that still available for sale?
Yeah, it was on Kickstarter. Of course, that closed. No, it's not like Kickstarter itself closed down, but of course, that campaign ended.
Yeah.
But thankfully, since my backers started getting the books in their hand, I was able to stop putting it up for digital and physical sale. You can get the physical version on Amazon. You can also get the digital version there as well. Or if you want a alternative to where you can get the digital version, you can. Oops, sorry about that. You can go over to Global Comics and read it there as well. Yeah, I have I could have made it more available earlier, but one of my I get to say moles or irks I get to say is that I didn't want to put up to sale before my backers starting getting the physical books because yeah I will find it a little bit screwed up if the people who back my books didn't have the books, but then some guy who didn't even put money towards it found it on Amazon. I was able to read it before them, so I waited till I
Yeah.
won't say like completely after they all got it, but once it started getting there, and thankfully the books kind of start arriving around the same time, it's like a day or two. So by the time it went through, verification and such, and got up there, it was already most people already got the books. So I'm like, okay, once that happened, I'm like, okay, yep, now anyone can go get it.
So one thing I'm actually kind of curious about is you've talked about, marketing the book. What's your process for, finding new backers, getting people to follow you, and just, getting more attention on the book?
My strategy is I use a couple different strategies. Some I found work well, others I found may not be as effective, and some I'm still testing out. So then, of course, there's like the most bare basic thing. Someone one of those tweets that go like, "Oh yeah, post your thing down below." And such.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got a couple of decent backs from there and such. And then others is, of course, going on shows. You still saw me during the campaign. I was going on like 2, 3 shows almost every single day. And it was funny because at the time I had like a crazy work and sleep schedule. So
I know exactly what you mean.
yeah. So there was basically a time where I didn't sleep for like over 24 hours, but I was still doing shows. And I wanted to die, but I'm like, nope, I'm getting funded. Yeah, of course. Like I said, Tyler C, he gives a good amount of decent marketing advice. So I use some of the things he does, whether it's knowing what to post it. Of course, I go on different social media sites to post things. Even just recently, I created a Instagram account, mostly because, funny enough, one I get to say decently followed guy retweeted a mini comic that I got made for the series that it was fun too and such. So he retweeted it. So that got like a decent amount of eyes on it. And so because of that, I was just like, oh, well, might as well strike with the irons hot and then create an Instagram account and then just like coach and then post it and just be like, oh my goodness, that's so funny. I made that, blah blah blah. So, cool, that helped got me a couple followers. I'm now like 200, 250, I think, on Instagram, which hey, it caught me some time, and that's only after like a week or two of owning it. So I'm like, okay, well, that worked out for me. And of course, Facebook, I mostly use it to like posting groups, any comment about the comments and such. And of course, I've been trying to so tiring, but I've been trying to like, create YouTube shorts to not just YouTube short, not just YouTube shorts, but like this YouTube videos in general, help tap into that market and then of course transfer that over to TikTok, just kind of going to whatever avenue I can to at least see if I can get anyone to look my way. Because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, that's basically what marketing is trying to get as much people as possible, or better said, as much people as possible that's in your customer base to look your way. So that's basically what I've been trying to do. And then, of course, I've been trying to now work on going to con as well to, tap into that market as well.
Nice. So, when you come up with like a new idea for a new comic, do you generally or is your plan in the future? Is it going to be to focus on these two, or are you going to have, like spin-offs and other ideas come out as well?
I definitely still have other ideas. Of course, since I'm still relatively newer, don't have that much of a base yet and such. Yeah, I'm sort of holding back on what I'm doing because I want to make sure that okay, I build and such because I feel like if I build it a little bit, it'll make when I'm new to the newer projects easier to get more eyes on it because then I'll have a more established base. You're going to go, oh hey, yeah, no, this guy he made this, so you should also check out this. So that'll make it
Yeah.
a lot more easier. But there's definitely like more ideas I have coming, because while it is good to keep your range, especially in the beginning, somewhat condensed, it's also good to have a varied amount because not everything will always appeal to everyone. So having more than one uh route or option that people can want to buy something for you is good.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yep.
So why don't you just finish off? Talk to us about your plans for like the immediate future, when you hope to get these books out. Give us the the short sales pitch.
Okay. So sales pick. So what my plan is, since I did Relentlessly Bullied Hero #1, my plan is, of course, getting it's already out. So of course it's that. I'm going to a con in like a few months, and hopefully afterwards, that's when I'll be able to release Storm of Riderz #1, and then before the end of the year, I'll be able to release Relentlessly Bullied Hero #2. As yeah, as I should be able to do it. Of course, when you're looking so far ahead, it can be because you don't know if something might happen. But from past experience, lore flow, and what we already got done, I can 100% get both of these campaign done before the end of the year. And then, of course, by time next spring comes along, I should be able to, the next spring or summer, I should be able to do another storm of writers. Then probably after that, that's when I'll start, dropping another new projects. And then I'm like, okay, good. I have two decent established series. Relentlessly Hero 3 is not that far off. Now I can just drop this. I'll have a decent amount fan base that'll be like, oh wow, I want to check this out. And then, from there, we'll just keep on growing, keep on tending stuff, and then keep on just spreading the good word, getting some people to good comics and such. And then, of course, all these things are eventually gonna make their way over on like Global Comics and Kickstarter. I think there's enough difference between like the quality of an Amazon book versus a Kickstarter book that I don't have to worry too much about, losing things to it. And of course, that I just found that apparently Amazon books can't print double pages, which is really annoying. But
Yeah.
yeah, what can you do about it? There's that, and then of course quality paper on that stuff. So I think there's like a good enough reading to where it's like, okay, the Amazon book are just for like the people who don't usually do Kickstarters and that stuff and don't want to wait for that stuff. And while the people who want like the real prestige best version of the book will just go to the Kickstarter. And thankfully, it's not like the prices are insane and such. Like I said, #1 was like 6 pages. Both sides of the book, had an image on it, decent cover, good quality. It wasn't baking paper, and the Kickstarter for it was only like 10. Well, no, it was more like 15-ish bucks. So that's not even like and not like I'm charging them an arm or a leg for it. So it's not like okay, yeah, it's just so worth to get the Amazon version, just more convenience thing.
We're gonna end it off here. I wish you all the best of luck, though, and it's been
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely great having you on.
Yeah, same. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. So if you're watching, go and find Relentlessly Bullied Hero #1 and #2 on the pre-launch, and also Storm Rail Riders all over on Kickstarter.
Yep. And remember, you can get #1 on Amazon if you want the physical version, or if you're
Yeah.
fine with digital, it's still on Amazon, but you can also get it on Global Comics.
Nice. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for coming on, I should say.
Yeah, no problem. Free to come back anytime you want.
Yeah. I'll see you later.
Yeah, take care.